Hello and welcome to another podcast from Quirky Quail. We were just reminiscing on how long it's been since we last did a podcast, because checking in the date from the past one, it's been almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say on the matter.
Mm-hmm. No, it's been really long. I sort of can't wrap my head around that.
The fact that obviously university and moving has got in the way.
It's mad.
But we decided to surprise all some of
stalwart listeners.
Yes, enthrall you. We have some fun stuff to share with you. Well, I say fun.
You won't think so once it's over.
What we've decided to treat you to today is a dramatic reading of Rough and Ready. Now, Rough and Ready is an erotic fiction written by a female writer called Sandra Hill.
A possibly female writer called Sandra Hill, because people do have pen names.
True. But we can't really tell whether she was meant to be writing this seriously or not, because she's meant to be a comedy writer, but it appears to be more like jokes that go on between her characters as what's meant to be comedic rather than the erotic fiction she actually writes, which is worrying. So we are going to treat you to a dramatic reading of this, chapter 17, and it'll be splendidly read to you by Sophie.
Oh, good. You'll like this. Right.
Enjoy.
Rough and Ready by Sandra Hill. Her long hair, still wet from the shower, had been combed down her back in a wet swathe. Hilda was sitting on the floor, her round, wet boobs still wet from the shower's water. She dried off the water with a towel, which then became wet. Hilda gasped when she saw a reflection of her in her bedroom mirror. Through the slightly open door she caught a glimpse of the chiselled abs and square jaw of the mysterious stranger who shared her cabin. She stood and spun round, her breasts swinging heavily with the momentum. She grabbed the door and flung it open, revealing shirtless Torolf quivering with desire in the hallway. Torolf was ashamed at being caught, but his shame made him even hotter for sex. He stepped into the room, and his bulging abs accidentally smushed into Hilda's rich chest. As Hilda's buttermilk bosom squished up against his granite abs, Torolf almost had a dick aneurysm. "Hilda!" Torolf murmured thickly, his throbbing meat wand pressing against Hilda's warm thighs. "There is a secret I need not to tell you. You are my forbidden desire." Hilda had been waiting to hear these words. Her heart was lifted on golden wings and soared toward a radiant sun of perfect joy. She saw herself and Torolf happy together, bathed in the golden light of love. Her snooch got all warm, too. "Torolf," Hilda moaned, her lush teats straining with desire, "I need you." Torolf, coarse abs pulsing softly in the moonlight, stood silently. Hilda looked at him expectantly. "Oh, sorry," she added. "Torolf, I need you sexually." At hearing those beautiful words, Torolf flexed his rough-hewn abs, and Hilda found herself being guided to her soft bed by the sheer force of Torolf's undulating midsection. She parted her thighs in anticipation, exposing the soft pink petals of her clunge. Torolf entered her like she was a lottery. His engorged pecker pushed inside her, and she felt fulfilled with sexual fulfillment. Hilda clutched at the bedsheets with lust and ecstasy, and her hands. Her spongy love mountains held to and fro with each pounding. Her body was like a beautiful... It's you! It's like
It's you!
Oh, yeah. It's like a challenge. You know, we should challenge people to see how far they can get without breaking down. Her body was like a beautiful flower that was opening, and somebody was pushing their dick inside it. Then Torolf moaned, arched his back, and suffered from Dick Parkinson's. He pumped in all of his hot, pearlescent sperms as Hilda spasmed with so many orgasms. The two lay still for a moment as the stinky scent of lovemaking billowed around the room. Hilda got out of bed, still shimmering with orgasm. She glowed with contentment, like a cat who ate the cream of the crop. She walked across the room and picked up her towel, still wet with shower water. "Torolf," she said softly, "there's something I have to tell you." But her bed was empty. Torolf was gone, escaped out the bedroom window. In the distance, Hilda heard the fading sound of galloping abs.
Well, that was something special. I like the fact that Hilda spoke normally up until "there's something I have to tell you." Then she became
right.
the queen.
I don't think she did.
But then you also said, I'm sure, that her bed was empty. Still, there was nobody speaking, but it still had the same accent.
Do you
Her
not
bed
think
was empty.
I envisioned the narrator in the corner of the room just going... It's like she was narrating it by watching.
Just to the microphone, just like behind a curtain. Just
Please ignore the lady with the microphone behind the curtain. Dorothy and Hilda looked up from their shimmering sex.
Shimmering sex.
Shimmering
That's
sex
like
marathon.
something out of the Twilight. Yes.
You
Sparkly vampires.
say penis.
Sparkly penis. That works too, I suppose.
It works better.
I can't listen to the phrase baring your teeth without someone thinking of someone just going to a bear.
Great radio. Great radio.
Oh yeah, sorry, like holding your lips apart and showing your teeth, but to a bear. Not showing your teeth to a bear, I mean doing it on a bear. Not doing it on a bear. Don't ever do it on a bear, that might be quite dangerous.
It's lovely to be here.
Thank you, Emily. I don't really have a particular viral this week. That sounds like I've got some sort of disease. My particular viral this week is chlamydia. Tasty. No.
Now, did you know that if you have 2 energy drinks a day, you are having the equivalent in sugar of a whole gatto?
I love my life.
So,
That explains so much about my hips.
So that's a recent fact I found out.
I just eat a whole gatto a day.
So anyway, so Wednesday went very, very well, and I had 2 theory papers in the morning and my practical in the afternoon, and I got some good feedback.
Yay.
I mean, the examiner was fair. I kind of needed to work on my confidence because I was so nervous of being watched and all that kind of thing. But she commented on me having like a good energy, and I'm pretty. No, I'm pretty confident is what I was going to add, but I put a dubious pause in there.
You feel very good about yourself today.
I feel really good.
I'm pretty.
I'm so pretty. I feel pretty and witty
And gay.
You're just about, I'm gay.
Awkward laughter.
And then crazy laughter.
That's what I'm best at.
Hey. So, thank you for listening to today's podcast.
Thank you so much. If you've made it this
far, then you're amazing.
You could just be talking to a room. Well, no, because it wouldn't be playing, would it?
No.
Just someone left it on. And then they got raptured.
If no one's there to hear a podcast, does it make a sound?
If no one's there to listen to our podcast, are we funny?
We have had a lovely suggestion for today's show, and that is to talk about 2 underrated TV shows. So I don't know whether you want to go first.
I need to load my stuff, so...
I need to load my stuff. So I have a squeaky chair, I do apologise.
So if there are any noises, like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can hear that, that would be just weird.
I need to hear muffin noises, because we've got quite a lot of muffins to eat.
What noises do muffins make?
Hello, I'm a muffin.
I don't want to eat speaky muffins. Speaky muffins? This muffin is speaky.
So, no, there's no, like, an underrated show called Muffins. So, if yours is loading, then I will go first. I was kind of thinking that I would talk about Stargate. I don't know whether any of you are familiar with, like, the whole Stargate world, but basically you've got a circular gate, and then it kind of fourths, and there's all this kind of watery blue stuff, and then you kind of step through it, and you go through a wormhole, and you end up on a different planet. That's the
Or
basis.
somewhere else on the same one.
Yeah. And there have been...
There's got to be a connecting gate.
Yes, yeah. There's been Stargate SG-1, which started it off. Well, no, the movie started it off, but I'm not going to even talk about the movie.
There was a movie?
Don't, yeah.
Okay, I only watched Stargate SG-1.
And then there was Stargate Atlantis, and then there was Stargate Universe. So I'm going to talk about Stargate Universe, which
I think I know that one.
Sophie does not know of. So I will be teaching her as well.
So that's the underrated... Did we say about underrated TV shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just blanked out, obviously. I think I was thinking about muffins.
Thinking.
Thinking! Thinking! I was thinking about speaking muffins.
Anyway, sorry. So I'm going to, kind of speed through Universe because it's a lot to explain.
Can
and it's...
speed through the
I
universe?
can speed through the universe. No.
She's got a spaceship. Go on, sorry.
Star Trek in the cuts. Oh, that's not underrated, but it's hell of a good. So,
Hell of a.
it's hell of a good. So the plot line behind Universe is basically a team are on a ship.
What do you call those things that are in
No,
space?
I can't actually remember the start. They end up on the ship because I think they're escaping from a planet.
A water ship or a spaceship?
A spaceship.
Oh.
A water ship.
Shut up, I mean like in the water.
Yes, that's where water ships go.
And then were they on a ship in the sea or on a ship in space?
And basically the ship is called the Destiny. And it's already got a course plotted, and they don't know where it's headed to. And there's the main scientist who's played by Robert Carlyle. He was an amazing actor.
Love him.
And
What else has he been in?
Phil Monty.
Yes.
He's been in a lot more than that, but that's the
That's
one
the
that
one
sticks
thing
in my
we can
mind.
remember. Probably says more about you than it does about Robert Carlyle.
Oh god. Yeah, Universe and Phil Monty, very different things.
Thank God.
So, and he wants to see where their final destination is, and the story follows them all as individuals, their lives throughout the time on the ship, and I think that's why it was kind of underrated, because it was meant to. I think even some previous Stargate fans expected it to be something that maybe it wasn't, but I don't think it was a bad
So
thing.
it's more personal than the previous Stargates.
Yeah, but I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the really good writing and the really good acting, and but I will say that if you plan on watching it, it is only 2 series long because they ended up cancelling it. It's not an abrupt finish, it's kind of just like a cliffhanger, so I suppose, well, not a cliffhanger, but they're put into stasis, so if they ever
pick up
the
the show
yeah,
again,
if they could come back to it.
My underrated programme was a cartoon series in the 90s that I was actually introduced to by my boyfriend Dave. Basically, the Tick is a blue-clad man. Obviously his costume is a tick, but it's blue. He's got these antennas that move independently and sort of look different ways. Not look, because they don't have eyes. But it starts off, the whole thing starts off with him crashing into this superhero convention in Reno, and from this convention he basically becomes a protector of the city. It's never given a name, it's just called the city. So when he goes here to become its main protector, he finds a sidekick called Arthur, he is an accountant at the beginning of the series, but he has always worn a moth costume, and it lets him fly, I think. I can never remember properly. But because he wears a moth costume, the Tick sort of takes to him and he becomes his sidekick. But basically after this, the Tick keeps freeloading off him, so lives in Arthur's flat, and basically spends all of their time sort of together. They fight crime in the city, sometimes by accident because the Tick is quite dim and sometimes ignorant of his surroundings. I love it because basically it's some hilarious quotes from it. Most of the episodes have amazing plots, like really weird, wacky situations. I think one of my favourites is the Tick starts off the episode, has a cold and is basically being looked after by Arthur. But their next door neighbour is this alien, what's he called? Watchamazog? I can never remember his name, but that's made fun of in the programme as well, because they keep calling Watchamazog. 2 logs on a dog, something like that, and they keep making fun of his name. And during that, Arthur gets kidnapped and cloned, so the clone goes to get some sort of tissue sample or something that they can clone the Tick from. And when the clone walks into Arthur's apartment, the Tick doesn't recognise him and thinks it's Arthur. He goes, "Arthur, Arthur,
get me more soup. And the clown said, Arthur? Arthur? Aye, Arthur, Arthur. And the tick knows nothing about this. So basically, the sample that the clone gets is a snot sample, because obviously the tick's got a cold. And the tick ends the episode by fighting his green slimy clone.
Ew.
It's disgusting, but I love it so much, because it's so childish, but there's adult jokes in it as well. Yeah, I love it. There was a live-action version of The Tick made in 2002 with Patrick Warburton playing the Tick. But yeah, there's superheroes in the original animated series that are called, like, American Maid, who's typical American. She's like Wonder Woman, or Deflator Mouse, who's basically a rip-off of Batman. But my favourite hero from the animated series wasn't included in the live-action version. That's the sewer urchin, who talks like this. I can't remember where the accent's from in America, but he talks like this, yeah. Always talks like this, yeah. I'm out of the sewer, what are you guys doing, yeah. You got any fights going on? Fights, yeah, right, yeah. And I love him. I hate broccoli, and yet, in a certain sense, I am broccoli. I just like to say, knock off all that evil. And, his catchphrase basically is, spoon! Because when he's trying to think of one, all he has in his hand is a spoon. So he says, spoon! And it becomes his catchphrase throughout the series.
So now we're going to move on to weekly news.
Weekly news!
So the weird thing that we found out today was that Kate and
William, the royal couple. Oh my god. I don't know why I'm doing this accent.
Well,
yeah. I just love them so much.
So they've gone on honeymoon.
Honeymoon. Honey. He goes on honeymoon.
You are my honey. No. What the hell just happened? They've gone on honeymoon to the Seychelles, and basically they've been given a gift by the government, which is a type of coconut from a tree
called the Coco de Mer.
But when the outer husk is removed, it basically resembles a female bottom. So they thought this would be an absolutely amazing gift.
The Seychelles government are now my favourite government just for this. Oh.
And basically, the female tree bears nuts, which grow for 7 years, and the male trees grow enormous catkins, giant phallus-shaped tubes studded with hundreds of delicate yellow flowers that give off a musky odour, which is greatly described there.
My favourite thing about this is next.
But in Seychelles Creole, the fruit is called coco fessa, which crudely translates as bum nut.
Bum nuts!
And this is... So even though, getting a coconut shaped like a female ass was kind of weird enough...
I like the fact they decided it was appropriate to give it to a royal couple.
Yes, and just the fact that, BBC News, and it decided that it's going to print an article with the word bum nut in it.
Bum nut! Ha! I'm so childish. I mean, like, parts of Tiger's not...
Hey, Tiger, come here! You can't even see the moves that she's doing. Maybe you should be glad.
Come here, Tiger! I don't know what this voice is, but I'm gonna rub you on me.
No, we don't want to go back to Nigel Thornbury. You managed to escape the Blorgnarg voices last week. That was good. I know what I want to talk about. Mars. And
oh god, yeah, we were talking about this before we started recording.
You looked at me like, what the hell, Mars? What are you talking about?
Is that your home planet? Yay! Yes.
So basically, I watched a programme which was essentially saying that we are Martians, and it's kind of, well...
Wow, that makes it sound so legit.
They didn't say it like that.
This seems legit.
But basically when...
Jump in my van, I've got puppies and candy. Seems legit.
I've got Martians. Yeah, I'll come in your van. Sorry, no. Oh no, God! Oh,
No! Change the topic. What I was saying
Martians!
was that when the Earth was being created, and obviously there were lots of asteroids and stuff bashing into planets, and there were pieces of Mars that were kind of getting flung down into our
Planet
atmosphere.
pinball.
Yes. And obviously you kind of think that maybe with asteroids kind of bombarding the planet that it would like vaporise oceans and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't. It actually kind of produced a perfect
Atmosphere.
Produced all the right things for life to start, because we already had like basic amino acids on the planet, and it was bringing other factors which actually started.
Space
Life
bacteria.
Yeah. Sorry. But basically they had a leading cosmologist who said, let's just kind of run with the theory that the creation of life is actually a very likely happenstance, and they kind of did lots of
I love that word, sorry.
happenstance. So they were analysing lots of different bacteria from different kinds of mud, and they looked at some life in a Californian lake, which I think is called the Mons Lake, and there
I've heard of it.
or something like that, and it's basically full of arsenic, so you can't go in the water or whatever. But
Well, you can,
if
but
you
you shouldn't.
and they found a very different type of bacteria, essentially saying that it's a completely different tree of life to our own. So there's at least like 2, or maybe even 3 different trees of life on our very own planet, which means that life on other worlds is very, very probable, which was absolutely fascinating to find out. And I think that show that I was watching was Through the Wormhole, which is presented by Morgan Freeman.
Hi,
It's like
I'm
doing the
Morgan
accent.
Freeman.
There's a group on Facebook that says, I'm
Hi,
Morgan
I'm Morgan Freeman. You're reading this in my voice. Oh, yeah, no, he is. How? I've just bitten my tongue. Oh!
But basically, I will watch it. Or anything by Brian Cox as well, because those programs are very interesting. Or... Are you okay?
Ow. Yeah, I bit the side of my tongue when I was talking.
Well, I think Sophie's tongue's got to heal, so we're going to leave it there for today. So thank you for watching.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening. You don't...
Unless you are outside the window, but...
Please,
yeah.
look, please.
Piss off.
So you've been listening to Quirky Quail Radio.
Thank you.